A winter unlike anything we've experienced.
It's pretty wild.
A parade of winter storms flooding the Bay Area.
If you told me this is going to occur, never.
Putting streets, homes, and livelihoods underwater.
You saw all buildings taking damages, glass getting broke out, the walk split in half.
The country is here for you and with you.
And with every storm, the hits just kept coming.
There it goes. There it goes. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh, a couch! From that rare snow here in the Bay Area.
I've never seen this much snow ever.
To the extraordinary winter in the Sierra.
Our First Alert Weather team takes a deep dive into our epic storms.
And looks at the implications for the future. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Jessica Birch from CBS News Bay Area Morning Edition.
I'm Darren Peck.
I'm Paul Hagen, and it has certainly been a winter to remember. Over this next half hour, our First Alert Weather team will give you a deeper look at our historic series of storms and the lasting impact on the Bay Area and beyond. So let's dive right in, and we're going to start with an overview of the entire rainy season. 17 different atmospheric rivers hit California over the course of the winter. Almost all of these storms were categorized as weak or moderate, with only 2 events ranking as an AR4 or AR5. These storms primarily occurred in 2 bursts that you can see in the track of daily rainfall since Christmas. The first in late December and the first half of January, and then the second in late February, lasting through most of March. We had a lot of rain to finish 2022 and begin 2023. Then a several-week lull from late January through most of February before the pattern became much more active again. It all added up to one of the 20 wettest water years on record for downtown San Francisco, where record-keeping goes all the way back to the gold rush. This winter's rainfall is almost identical to what added up just 6 years ago, but nowhere near the El Nino winter of 1997-98. Still, it is a huge turnaround from the past couple of winters. But this winter wasn't remarkable just because of the rain. Here's a look back at some of our wildest weather.
Mother Nature sent 2022 out with a bang, with one of our first atmospheric rivers of the season. Just too much to handle. Freeways flooded, and the iconic crab stations at San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf under 6 to 8 inches of water.
Oh, it's freezing right now. It's freezing to the point that it hurts.
In Danville, first responders had to use surfboards just to get flooded residents out of their homes. And the trouble continued with the next round of storms. Fierce winds toppling over a gas station canopy in Pacifica. In the Santa Cruz Mountains, an aerial view of the devastation after the San Lorenzo River spilled over, putting the entire neighborhood in Felton Grove under several feet of water. Our coastal communities were battered. Ferocious waves left businesses in Capitola in shambles.
You saw all buildings taking damages, glass getting broke out, the walk split in half.
The historic pier destroyed.
We lost a huge section of our wharf area. It had to take a huge hit to do something that damaging.
The damage so severe it prompted a visit by President Biden. In February, more wild weather, but this time something that a lot of us actually enjoyed: snow.
You gotta get your selfie with the snowman. It's the first time I've seen snow up here. We've lived here for 15 years.
We caught people enjoying rare Bay Area winter activities. A snowball fight at Mission Peak near Fremont, and this snowboarder shredding through snow-covered vineyards in Napa Valley. But once March arrived, it brought another series of damaging storms. One led to a levee breach in Monterey County, flooding the entire farming town of Pajaro. Some homes completely unlivable.
All the water got on top. As you can see, all the walls got destroyed.
Here in the Bay Area, a series of devastating wind events. Falling trees killing 5 people, with some of those trees coming down right in front of our cameras.
There it goes. There it goes. Oh my God. Oh.
The winds so fierce, they blew out windows from high-rises in San Francisco, even tossing a couch from a patio onto the street below. And this parade of storms meant repeated and prolonged power outages.
There's no light, so there's no refrigeration. There's no way to take a shower because the water heater is electrically operated. No way to prepare food. The refrigerator, once again, the food's going to spoil.
It's not just that this winter was extreme from a rainfall standpoint.
It's that it came fast on the heels of the other extreme. Remember, right before this winter, we were in the depths of the deepest drought on record. And that kind of fast reversal, like flipping a switch, is something the climate community is calling weather whiplash. And they're also telling us California should expect this to become more common and more extreme in a warmer climate. Let's take a look at this first from both sides. The wet side overwhelmingly is controlled by atmospheric rivers. They're the most important driver in any winter in California in terms of how much rain we're going to get. They deliver the bulk of it. And just a quick review on that. With all of the atmospheric rivers we had and covered this winter, it's important to take just another detailed look at them. They're concentrated ribbons of water vapor that get pulled across the Pacific from thousands of miles away. And when they come our way, it's important to look underneath the hood on one of these, just to kind of come away with two, I think, explanations. First of all, an average atmospheric river can transport as much as 25 Mississippi rivers. It's a tremendous amount of water being transported above our heads. We don't get all of that water, obviously, but it's important to know the fuel it has available to it. And then the other combination to look at is the one in red down there. You see where it says integrated vapor transport. That's how we measure these things. So we don't just measure the water vapor. We measure how fast it's moving. It's the vapor transport, the wind that's transporting these things across the Pacific, because that gives it that much more energy, like with the Santa Cruz Mountains. When it gets here, they hit the Santa Cruz Mountains, and that wind drives those updrafts, and you can get a lot more rain. That's why the Santa Cruz Mountains had such a difficult go this winter, because several of these were oriented to come in just at their latitude and hit them at just the right angle. But we had 16 of these hit California this winter. That's on overdrive. The average would be about 3 to 5 atmospheric rivers, perhaps, in any given winter. That's where we'd like them to be. That'd be great. We don't want to overdo it like we did this winter. Here's the other extreme. When we were in the depths of the drought in 2021, we barely got any. They all went to the Pacific Northwest. This is a perfect example of how California, it's either all or nothing. And when we got nothing in 2021, we found ourselves at the deepest end of the drought. That's what the drought monitor looked like in September of 2021, which, by the way, that's what we looked like from space in September 21. Dixie Fire, Caldor Fire, this was all smoke. And that's one of the consequences we know all too well about the dry side of the whiplash. Here's what we look like today. That's March 2023, where we're now looking at, instead of smoke, we're looking at the deepest snow in history, statewide. California's always done this. California has always gone back and forth from one extreme to the other. We very rarely ever hit average. And this map is a beautiful depiction of that. The deeper you are into the shades of blue and green, the more wildly your winter will swing around average. If you get into the deep shades of blue to black, you can expect your winter to be off the mark by 70%. Meaning you either get 70% above average for rain or 70% below average. Nowhere else in the country does that. Very few places in the world do that. If you look at the rest of the country, for the area shaded in pink, there's like a 10-degree spread. You can usually expect to be close to average, not here in California. We've always done that. But what the climate science is telling us now, in a warmer climate, we can expect that to become even more extreme. In other words, the wetter winters become even more extreme on the wet side. The dry winters are going to become more dry on the dry side. And the one over here shows you the most interesting one. The whiplash is also going to increase, meaning the fast turnaround from one extreme to the other.